Welcome back. Today I'm going to try to play a rapid game live on camera, but unlike the last several times that I played on chess.com, today I'm going to play on Lichess, and that's because my Lichess rapid rating has dropped below 1500. 1500 is the rating at which you start when you first join the site, because that's the way the Glico 2 rating system works. And at some point I got up around 1700, almost 1700, but now I'm below 1500 again, so I'm going to try to correct that. I'm going to try to play a 10+2 game and see if I can get connected. I tried 10+2 over on chess.com and never got paired, but here I did get paired at 10+2, so let's try that. And we'll play this. Okay, it is adding 2 seconds. All right. I think I can just play the F pawn now. I know they can check me with their queen, but I can block that with the pawn. They didn't check with the queen. Okay. The only problem with them getting this bishop out first is that it makes it difficult to castle. I do know that. Let's see. I can't quite play that now. Yeah, I can. Because if they take with the pawn, I'll take with the knight, and then they can't quite break through. But then they could check with the queen over there. So maybe I should get this bishop out first. I know that they might challenge it with that pawn, in which case I can drop it back. They didn't. Okay. Yeah, now I am going to play d4 and see if we can do this, especially since they've put their knight there blocking their queen's path over to h4. They did back up. Okay, now I can castle, but now I have to worry about that pawn being takeable. But I think I will defend it with this bishop just in case, and they've attacked the bishop. Well, I should have seen that coming. Well, I've got some time. Let me think about that. My bishop isn't defended, and their knight would love to go there to fork my queen and king. So I guess I'll just move my queen up one so that I can take when they take. I think that's how that's going to work. Okay. They hopped that knight in there, and now they're going to hop this bishop in there to take this knight. I guess if they want to trade the bishop for the knight, they can. In fact, let me encourage... No, hold on, because right now I only have 2 pieces defending that, and that knight is one of them. So I need to put this rook here to help defend that. And then they're going to take there with their bishop. And oh, I'm going to have to give up a rook. Okay, I think I've already lost this game, and now you know why my rating is below 1500. Although when I first started at 1500, nobody at that level played that well and just immediately knew what I had done wrong. That is something fairly new. All right, I'm going to drop my queen back again. Really don't know what they're aiming at here. They can't check in any of these places. They can't take that pawn because my queen is defending it. They just wanted it over there. If I offer to trade queens here, then of course I will not be defending my f pawn anymore. I don't know if it would do any good to bring this knight around this way. No, probably not, because that's not attacking the queen, is it? Well, let's see if I can bring my rook around this way and see what they want to do about that. And from the clocks here, my opponent has taken far less time than I have. So good for them, I guess, although they are rated 1452. So I guess we'll see. Where's that knight going? I mean, it could go there or there. Either one I would be happy with. I'm going to continue with my plan, but I assume they're going to play h5 now. Nope, they didn't. Okay. Well, then I will go here and see what they're up to. I suggest running away, but I don't know where they can run to. Maybe there, maybe there. There, okay. h6 is a good place to run to. They're still aimed at this pawn, so I don't want to move it just yet. Although now my rook's defending it, so I can move the queen, but I don't know where. All right, let's, I mean, I was thinking about putting my knight in here on d5, you know, to attack that pawn, but then they're just going to move it forward, so that's probably not a great idea. I want to bring this bishop back, I think, because it's about to get hit, isn't it? I'm surprised they haven't hit it yet. Or should I play a5? A4. Let's play a4 so they can't immediately hit the bishop and see what they're going to do next. Oh, they hopped in here because I can't take it because this pawn is pinned by the rook. I totally understand that. Oh, and they've attacked my queen. Okay. All right. I understood what's happening. At least I think I do. I will move my queen back then. I don't even have to keep defending either one of those because, like I said, the rook's defending that pawn. The other pawn's defending my e-pawn. So I can just drop back here, I guess. And it took another minute thinking about that. Wow. Okay. Well, they're coming with the pawns. It's probably... Oh, wait, did they just give up the knight? I know that opens up their rook, but I'm going to take the piece. I was down in exchange, so I'm going to move my bishop now and not give it up for a pawn. I know I have tripled pawns, and that's never great. That one up there at the front is only defended by the bishop. I may have to retreat the knight here in a second. Also, they may be trying to load up the rooks here on the e-file. Oh, they put the queen over there. Still aimed at this pawn. What? I don't know. Trying to figure out why they moved it over there. Maybe they were worried about it getting trapped. I mean, I kind of hope they push this pawn forward so I can put my knight there, but that may not happen. I guess while we're here, I should protect some pawns, so these are all protecting each other. My queen's protecting the one at the back and the bishop, but the bishop might have to move or something later. I assume they're going to keep trying to push some of these pawns here. I don't know which one they're thinking about. Oh, they wanted to go back in there. Okay. Are they going to try to check back there? Because I don't think that's going to get anywhere. I can attack the queen now, but then it'll just move in here and be attacking my knight and this pawn. But I guess I could put my queen there to protect the knight. No, not there. Here maybe. Yeah, so there's no point in attacking the queen right now. In fact, I kind of want to leave my knight here in case their d pawn ever moves and quits protecting that square. So then I can, start getting my knight in that way. Oh yeah, my knight's not defended. Okay, I got to think about that. I can defend it over here if I have to. No, they're going to check and the knight's undefended. Okay, they're looking at a fork, and yeah, it took me way too long to see that. So I need to move the knight first or defend it. Let's move the knight first, but then I'm not protecting that pawn anymore. So I'll put the knight here. Okay, so I'm protecting that, and then I'll have to go over here, I guess, to d2 to protect both the knight and the pawn. No, the pawn's protected by the bishop. All I have to do is drop down. Again, not to the e file where the rook is. But yeah, I definitely took too long to see that fork. Okay, they've put the queen back. Probably aiming for this check, I'm guessing. Holy hand grenade. Well, how can I avoid that? Guess I could shoot this pawn forward to get out of here, but then they're going to get the knight. If I put the queen down now, they're going to bring the rook down to check, right? So I'm going to get the king off the back rank. Now if they come down, yeah, sure, I'll trade queens with them, I guess. Not if they bring the rook down, but if they bring the queen down, I think I will trade queens with them now. I think I'll kind of have to. Well, if I let them take me, then they're going to get 2 pawns. So I guess I'll take it first. I want to put my queen up here and go straight for their king. I don't know if that's going to work. Let's try that. Maybe they'll bring their rook down and check me right here. Okay, let's take that. And that, I guess. Go ahead, take with the pawn. That was probably not a good move, but I was getting tired of this. Oh yeah, they did that. Okay, I'm going to get out of check. Now where are they going to go? Hopefully they'll move the other rook over and I'll pull something like this, which is a check, and then get that rook. But I usually don't get that fortunate, and they could probably just take the bishop now if they want to. Oh, they did that. Okay. Do a queen trade. I'm going to go ahead and do what I said, which is check and see if I can win here. I can't just yet, but I can't. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the rook. They took my queen. Okay. Then I will take their queen. They can take this pawn. They did. All right. Good job. You took the pawn. Okay, now it's too bad I don't have my bishop guarding that square. Oh, black resigned. It beeped while I was talking. Am I ahead? I think I am. I have 2 extra pieces. But I know I made a ton of mistakes in that game. Just a ton. And it felt like in the first 30 seconds on my opponent's clock that they knew exactly what they were doing and did it very well, and I didn't see it coming. But then after that, I'm not sure what happened. It felt like maybe they only knew the first 5 or 10 moves or something. They had a plan, but then the plan went awry eventually. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely winning, +8. Okay, I'm going to run the computer analysis and just see if, what it says that I had were any blunders or mistakes, things I could have done differently. Okay, it does say I had 4 blunders, so let's look at those. So I'm going to go to the move first and then click the Z key. And now the correct move is not listed over here, and when I have to turn off the lines too. Okay, I'm getting better at doing that without seeing. Okay, so that was a blunder when they put the bishop back there. And then my next move, which was castling, was a blunder. Should not have castled. Oh, I should have taken this pawn. I'm guessing on the previous move they should have taken with the pawn, which is actually what I thought they were going to do, and I was going to take here and then I was going to castle. But now that they blundered by not taking the pawn, I'm guessing I should have taken, because for them to take back gives me this. They lose their right to castle. I can just turn this on without the Z key. Okay, yep. I should have taken the E pawn, or not quite as good is to take with the D pawn, with the F pawn, I mean. And it says if I had taken here, they would not have taken back. Sorry, I had my settings set to not show those arrows on there because they're so irritating. How do you get the arrows off? Is it down here? Yeah. That gets frustrating. I have to change those settings fairly often because they unset themselves. But anyway, the arrows just get in my way, especially when I'm also drawing arrows. Okay, so they would not have taken, because if they did, I would get their queen, I'm just guessing. Yes, I would take their queen, they would take back, then I would take this pawn too, and they would still have to move their knight. So it's saying that instead of taking, they should just move the knight now, either all the way back or up to g4. If they moved to g4, I would play knight to g5. And if they brought the knight back, I would also play knight to g5. Okay, I had no idea that I was supposed to play knight to g5, except that my bishop's pointed there, so maybe knight to g5 would make sense. I think I understand that. Let's turn that off. Okay, it just made a bunch of moves that didn't happen in the game. That's frustrating. Lichess, please stop. My next blunder was a turn later, after I castled and then they castled, then I played bishop to e3. The reason that I did that was because, actually I don't remember now why I put the bishop on e3 other than to add an extra defender to that pawn. But the reason that's a problem is because they can just put the knight where they should have put it anyway. Okay, so instead of bishop to e3, I should have probably just, no, I can't take this pawn now because my king's in the way. I should have moved my king over or taken with this pawn. No, because then they would take back. Yeah, I think that's why I put the bishop there, is because I wanted to take, but my bishop wouldn't have been defended there, so it didn't matter. I'm gonna guess I should have moved my king over. No, I should have taken here. Okay, but if I take there, they're gonna take back, right? Yeah, it's their only move, and now I can't take or move forward because of where my king is, but it says to go pen their knight, so they can't put it on g4. Yeah, but now I don't have enough defenders on this, right? Because their pawn got out of the way, so now their queen is helping defend or attack my d4 pawn. I only have 2 defenders on it, they have 3. So if I penned over here, they're going to take this with check. I'm going to take their bishop. They're going to take here with check, it says, although they probably, in my experience, would have taken with the pawn. It would have been a huge blunder to take with the pawn. Really? Why would that have been such a huge blunder? Oh, my engine is, my computer is really heating up now. The fan is just blowing. It says if that happened, then I would put my knight on d5. Okay, well, that's so they couldn't take it. And then I'm up +5. Even though they're up a pawn. Their best move is knight b to d7, and then I will put this pawn here. I don't know why, because they would just take it, right? Okay, I'm gonna go here. It says their best move is to go there and let me have their queen. Why wouldn't they just take this pawn? Because I would take the knight, and their best move is to take my bishop and let me take the queen with their bishop. But why wouldn't they capture the bishop with this pawn? I don't know. It's about the same rating. Okay, I would take there with check, and they would move the king over. Okay, it says that they would actually take this with their queen, but I don't know why, because my rook is there. If I were them, I would move the king over. But now it's really bad because I will go over here, and I'm threatening checkmate. Now they have to give up the queen for this. Okay. Well, I don't know how many moves off the beaten path that was because it's not listed over here for some reason. I guess when I take the Z key off, it took all that away. Where is the... Okay, this is the variation I just played, so we're like 8 moves into a variation, and that's why this was a blunder. Sometimes knowing what's a blunder isn't that helpful. But if I didn't take here, I should have played knight to d5 now, and they would have taken it, and I would have taken with the bishop, and they would have played c6, and I would have brought the bishop back. The bishop back this way. Okay, all right, but this was a blunder, and I didn't realize it until they played knight to g4, which they did. It's not their only move that keeps them ahead, but it's the best one, and I realized why once they did it, because, oh yeah, I just put the bishop there, so what can I do about it? I should have dropped it back, or dropped it back this way, but I think if I had dropped it back here, they would have started taking my d-pawns, but I should have put it on f2, and they still would have taken it. Well, of course. I considered that, but now I don't remember why I didn't do it. I don't even think I mentioned it, but yeah, I should have probably just done that. But then they would have taken, I would have taken it, but now I'm down -2, even though we're even on material, because now they can take here, and when I take back, they're going to play b5. Oh, okay, that's why I'm down -2? It says it's -2 whether I bring the bishop back to f1 or bring it back to b3. I probably would have brought it to b3, but then they would have played bishop to b7, which is here, and I would have moved my king over to h1. I'm still down -2 for unknown reasons, and that's because they can take on, no, d4. That would be this bishop they would take here. I would take back, okay, I'm still down, still even on material. It's -2, because now they can play c5, and I will run away, yes, probably, to e3, okay. Still trying to figure out why I'm down -2, because now they can play c4 and my bishop's trapped. Oh. Because when I first put it there, I had time to play the pawn and get the bishop out of the way. But this time, because I had to run with my queen from d4, that gave them a chance to get close with the c-pawn. Okay, I get that. That's why I'm down -2. Again, took a long time, but I didn't do any of that stuff. I did this, which is -3, if they take the bishop, which they did, and I took back. And now they... Wait, that was a blunder? How was I to know that was a blunder? I don't know why I thought that was a good move now that I think about it. But okay, this one I knew right after I played it that it was a blunder on my next turn when I brought the rook over. Okay, this knight is not pinned. I think that's where my brain had a small malfunction at that point. I thought, oh no, the knight is pinned, because usually when the opponent puts the bishop there on g4 and there's a knight there on f3, the knight is pinned to the queen. But my queen's not where it normally is at that point. My queen has gone up there, strangely, to e3, so the knight isn't pinned. So the knight is still defending over here. I guess the problem was I thought they were going to take it, and then I wouldn't have anything defending this. But that's why they say I need to play king to h1. That way my queen is not lined up with my king anymore, and I can just move my queen. So yeah, I should have just moved the king over. But I didn't. I did this, which is really bad because that wasn't their best move. Taking here was their best move. Oh, and also now the knight is pinned because I just put my rook there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I definitely made a mess of this opening. Okay. Well, I will just go ahead and admit I never really understood the Vienna game. I've played it a lot. I just don't understand nearly as well as my opponents do. And in fact, I'm thinking of switching back to the English or d4 openings or the hippo. I have no idea. Anyway, so they took there, which wasn't their best move, but it was still okay. And I should have taken it with my queen. But instead I took with the rook. And now they can take here, which, yeah, that's a pretty good move. But they didn't. They took with the bishop, which allowed me to give the rook up for it. Okay, so that was actually a better outcome for me than it could have been. They could have taken here, and then they're going to get that knight once I move my queen. It still says I would take here and have to give up the rook for it. I don't know that I would have, but I probably should have, because, again, that bishop is lined up with my queen and king really bad. Okay, so they got the check here. No, they didn't, because that's not what they played. We're in the... Okay, so they took with the bishop instead of the pawn, and it wasn't my best move to take with the rook, and their best move to take with the pawn, and my best move to take the pawn. Earlier, when I hovered over the blunders, it highlighted them on this graph, but now when I hover over blunder, it's not highlighting them on the graph. What difference? What happened? Something changed. It's not highlighting the blunders on the graph anymore. Okay, but anyway, I don't want to go through every move. I want to go to see my opponent was still way ahead here. Their blunder was c6, and they were still only up -2 at this point. They were not up a great deal, even though I thought I was losing most of this time because they were up that exchange, that bishop for the rook that happened here in the middle. But they were behind ever since this move, according to... Okay, this time Lichess played a move that was in the list, but it's not... But I didn't tell it to go to the next move. It played two moves. It played their blunder and my follow-up. Okay, the problem here is that their knight was under threat by the pawn, and that's what lost them the game. Wow. According to the graph, the move that lost them the game was going here and giving me the knight. Okay, when they did that, I didn't know it was a blunder, and I knew this was probably my best move. Otherwise, I wouldn't have played it. But am I still ahead, though? I'm only up 1 point of material because I have a bishop and a knight for a rook. But I also have tripled pawns. They have these 4 connected pawns here on the queen side that, as you saw, are going to start, hammering away at my pieces. I don't have a pawn directly in front of my king anymore, so I had to sneak this rook in there. I did not know that I was ahead at this point. I still have one more blunder to go. I'm going to try to get to that. Here my opponent did play their best move, which forces the bishop to go somewhere. Did I make the right move? I did, okay. Because I knew if I went back to one of these 2 squares, which is my only other choices, I guess I had a total of 5 options. But the reason that I didn't go back that way is because my bishop's not pointed at anything. The reason I was keeping it over here the whole time was because it's kind of pointed at their king. But now with that pawn there, I had to come this way. I wasn't sure where to put it. I thought if I put it in front of the king, they might start loading up rooks here on the e-file and eventually get down something like this. My bishop would still be defending e2 from beside the king, but here it's also defending the pawn. So that was my best move. Okay. Their best move was just to come over 1, or over 2 to f6. No, king 8, king to h8. Those 2 are their best moves. Okay, I get queen to f6, I think. It piles up my tripled pawns, right? Interestingly, it says if they did play queen to f6, my next move would be to get the king off the back rank. But they played queen to d6, which I thought was weird. It took me a while to figure out what they were aiming for, and I should have played king to g2 anyway, or queen to d4. I took away a little bit of my advantage to thinking I was helping here, but that allows them in here. Well, that's where they went, but that's not what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to play f6. Okay, well, f6 would have blocked off my tripled pawns and kept them from moving anywhere. But they went in there, and I realized, oh no, they're going to check me and win the knight. My best move was to get the king off the back rank. Getting the king off the back rank is about the same as knight to e2. So I should have played that, but not this because, again, they should have played f6. They didn't. They went back. I realized they were probably trying to get their rook down here. Not their queen, but their rook. Now I'm supposed to play f6 because they didn't. Or queen to g3. Oh, now I played king to g2? Okay, I told you I played it eventually, but now it's a mistake. What? Well, because it looked like they were coming in here. I mean, king to g2 seemed like a good idea, but it's not. Now we're back between +1 and -1. If they'll play f6, they didn't play f6, they played b5, and I'm supposed to play f6. There's enough of a difference that taking the pawn was counted as inaccurate, but should have played f6. And it says if I did, they would have played g6, and then I would have played queen to h4, and they would have brought their queen back, and then I would have played f5, and they would have played rook to e5, e5. I'd probably not, but okay, taking the pawn wasn't horrible. They weren't supposed to take back. They were supposed to play h5 now. Wait, h5 was listed when I started talking. Nope, it's back to f6 now. Or queen to e1. Okay, but they took back on the pawn, which allows me to play f6. Okay, so both of us missed f6 a lot of times, and this was a blunder. My only move was f6. Okay, well that's the story of this game, that we didn't play f6 ever, because now they can play f6 or queen to d4. I remember all those times it said if I played f6, they were going to play g6. They played g6 here, which was another blunder. Was I supposed to take it? Yes, okay. So I took it. Their best move is to take back. Oh, the bishop taking. Okay, I thought I gave up the game when I took with the bishop after I did it. Because when I first did it, I was like, aha, now I'm breaking through. And then I was like, oh no, I gave up the piece and they've got their rooks all lined up here. I thought I lost, but that was my best move. Okay. All right, I messed up the opening, but I was handling this part well. They should have taken it. I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to take it, and then I was going to take their g-pawn, and they were going to come this way. But it says if they went that way, it would have been bad. Really? It says they had to go to h7, because then I had to bring my rook back before I tried to checkmate them. So if they had taken the bishop and I had taken here and they had gone to h7, I would have messed up, because I might have brought it back, but I also might have gone forward with it. How bad would it have been to go forward with it is what I want to know. I would still have a very slight advantage if they went back. Obviously, if they went forward, it's mate. But if they went back, see, I was thinking of coming up here and then checkmating them. But I guess that's bad because they could check me. If I came up here, then suddenly they're ahead if they check me. And it says not to go to g3. Why not? Why wouldn't I want to go to g3? Oh, because of mate. Oh, wow. Because they would do this, and then this is mate. Okay, so I made the best move here, but if my opponent had made the best move following that, I probably would have lost. Okay, but they didn't make the best move. They checked first. They had to take the bishop first, but they checked first, and I still should have gone toward it, not away from it. Wait, backing up. It says 6 + 2 if I go toward them, +4 if I block with the knight. But when I went up to h3, it's +5. So why isn't h3 listed here then? Okay, I clicked the little plus button here and let Stockfish go a few more depths deep, or a few more modules, or whatever they call it, and now it is saying king to h3 is my second best move. Because that's what I did, and then it's over here it says it's +5 something. And I think it's chess.com, where if you go forward and then back up, it'll change the initial evaluation of the two best moves. But here it didn't. It kept insisting that blocking with the knight was better than this, but this is better than blocking with the knight. Now they should have taken my bishop. Again, I thought they were going to, but they brought the queen down. Oh, it would have been a lot better if I had just taken here. I'm taking the pawn. Okay, well, I thought if I did this, then I would win their rook for the bishop. They did make their best move by getting behind the pawn, and it was my best move to take the rook. Okay, I hem-hawed on that. I remember they should have taken the bishop, but instead they traded queens with me, and I should have taken with the pawn. It says I should have taken with the h-pawn, but I took with the rook instead, which is still pretty good, and my opponent took that pawn and then resigned. Well, I'm well over my time here. I guess I'm glad I won, but I'm frustrated about the opening. I think I understand what my mistakes were. I think the rest of this was pretty inscrutable to me. I'm going to keep plugging away. Let me know how you're doing in chess, and I'll see you next time.